Okay, we got the former WWF referee, TNA Hall of Famer, AEW referee Earl Hebner coming on right now. You like what we're doing? Hit the subscribe button.
Hey, this is Earl Hebner, and I'm on the podcast I Only Touch Greatness.
Ryan Hayes and Big Mike. I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
Yeah, man, can you see me?
Yeah, I got you. We figured it out.
This is
You look nice tonight. Why'd you
I
all
Only
dress
Touch
up for this?
Greatness podcast
Yeah,
with
I rushed
Ryan
home-
Hayes
I rushed
and
home
Big
from work
Mike.
for this.
We are
Yeah.
going live.
It's a damn. The notes Katie left you must have worked pretty good in order to get you in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good. And I want to thank you for coming back on to do this again. I don't know what happened last time. I think is when I left the meeting for a quick few seconds there to re-enter. It ended the meeting and I didn't record past that part. So I was really hurting and I was scared to ask again if we could try it again. But I'm glad you're here.
All right, buddy.
All right, let's go. So, born in Richmond, Virginia. Describe what it was like growing up there in your childhood.
Well, it was tough because it was during the Depression with my parents coming up, you know what I mean? Or me being born and they going through that. But other than that, it was okay. We made it.
What made you get into wrestling in the first place?
Well, I was putting a ring up. I was working for a concessionaire guy, and Rasmus coming to Richmond every Friday night and at the fairgrounds, and I was putting a ring up. And then one day, Mr. Joe Murdoch came in and said, I need you to do me a favor. I said, what's that? He said, I need you to referee tonight. I said, I don't know nothing about refereeing. He said, all you got to do is listen. So that's how it started. Because of one of the other referees that was coming here, Angelo Martinelli, he had a heart attack and passed away.
Oh, okay. And you made your major wrestling debut in 1977. So was you growing up, was that always what you wanted to do? Be in the wrestling business?
Well, not really until I got the chance to do it, and then I fell in love with it. So,
Yeah.
Being around it every Friday night and then getting the chance to do what I did, I fell in love with it.
Okay. And you spent most of your 80s were spent with Jim Crockett Promotions.
Right, for about
And-
13 years.
Yeah, describe those years. Obviously it was one of the original big name promotions.
Well, what I did for them, I was putting the ring up, selling merchandise, and refereeing.
Okay.
Of course, I had help doing that.
Yep. And you also refereed the famous I Quit match at Starrcade 1985?
Yep.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite matches as a kid because I was still just a young guy, like the young buck. I was like a young buck trying to.
Yeah, there you go. It was Tully and damn, I had his name on
Magnum TA.
Magnum TA and right, and JJ threw the towel in.
Yeah, and that was the first I Quit match ever, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. My notes, I don't have that in my notes, but I just see that here. Another one of my notes here. I love the War Games, and you were a part of the very first one. Who came up with the idea for the War Games?
You know what? I really don't know.
Oh, okay.
You know.
It was Dusty Rhodes.
Okay, because I wasn't involved in most of the office deal at that time.
Okay, I read it was Dusty Rhodes. I was hoping to get you to talk about Dusty.
Well, I love him.
Yeah.
He's the one who gave me my job.
Oh, okay.
He hired me. Well, actually, Crockett gave me they gave me a chance to referee, and then Dusty was the one that gave me the official hiring.
Okay. Your first WWE match you were involved in, of course, was the one with twin brother Dave.
Right.
It's the Hogan versus Andre.
Right.
Ted DiBiase bribed you to count the pin on Hogan. Can you tell me how that all went down that night? And was it part of the storyline? Obviously, your brother being involved, and just how was that night to you?
Well, they needed two lookalikes, and we were twins. So it worked out good for me because I was working for the NWA then, and that's how I got my spot at WWF. And then they didn't want – Hogan was making that movie, Paradise or whatever it was.
Thunder in Paradise?
Thunder in Paradise, right.
Oh.
And they didn't want him to really get beat 1, 2, 3, so it worked out good.
Yeah. That was, being in the ring with Hogan and Andre must have been something else.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Especially for the first time.
Yeah. That was your first match.
Right.
And then back in the day, the investigative report was in the magazine, the WWE magazine, and they kept running the thing about Dave being the jealous brother. I remember that. I used to subscribe to it. Is it true you broke Dave's ribs?
When I kicked him, yeah.
Yeah.
If you go back, anybody goes back and looks at the film, when I kicked him, I knocked myself down because it was a lot of tension, stress, and whatever.
I'm going to put those highlights in this video, so
okay.
Hopefully Vince doesn't sue me.
He can't sue nobody. He'd like to, but who knows?
Yeah. You also refed that same time frame. You refed the tournament finale because it was a 14-man tournament once that title became vacant. And it was the Macho Man at WrestleMania. What was your experience in your first WrestleMania?
It was cool. It was great. It was, when you walk out with that many people out there, it's no matter how long you've been in the business or how much experience you have, it gives you goosebumps. Oh,
you also you started the whole kayfabe referee strike thing back in the day. Well, what was that storyline? How did that come about?
I guess that's what Vince thought of, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because WCW and all of us guys and they just worked the program.
Yeah, I got in my notes here. It was the early 2000s. It was the Invasion era, I believe, and you were tired of taking abuse from Triple H. That was the storyline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he guaranteed you, or you ended up helping Jericho win and stuff, but the call all got reversed, and Triple H fake fired you, and yeah. That was one of my favorite storylines back in the day. That's why I want to talk about it. But you were also the first playable character in a video game for the WWE at the time, I believe, or it might have been WWF. But
WWF.
What were your feelings seeing yourself in the video game?
It was great.
Yeah.
I was making money.
Yeah. Oh, so you make money for being in the game?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Probably based on sales?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
It's called royalties.
Yeah, royalties, because any character must get paid, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay, this was my note about the Invasion era. The Invasion era, you wrestled Nick Patrick when he came. He was the WCW referee, and they merged.
Right.
And you guys actually had like a full-out match, I believe, at WrestleMania?
I can't remember.
Okay. Why'd you leave WWE?
Well, it was a big dispute about, I made some merchandise that they said I was making shirts and selling them, but the shirts that I bought I had a company in St. Louis, and we were buying them from the same people that Vince was buying them from. And they claimed I was doing whatever it was, which is a joke today, back then too. But, it was...
You can say next question.
Huh?
You can say next question.
But, it was just...
Yeah.
It was all politics, and they wanted to get rid of my brother, to be honest with you.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Johnny couldn't get along. But other than that, I was a gopher. And then that's how it ended up.
A couple weeks later after that, you made your debut in TNA wrestling. It was a Christian versus Jeff Jarrett, I believe.
I guess.
Yeah, I hope so.
I wrote down. I've done so many matches. I can't remember everything I've done.
Yeah, that's for sure. I got the lowdown. I'll give it to you. What was it like making your debut in TNA, the competitor against WWE that no longer needed you to work there?
Well, TNA was more laid back and more relaxing for me, and probably everybody that works there, really. So it was good. It was, you could just go in and do what you got to do and do your job, and nobody giving you a hard time or knocking you or whatever. And, it was just relaxing.
Okay. And that's the kind of work atmosphere you need to have.
Right. That's like AEW.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get to those ones. The AEW questions are coming up here shortly. One time you pushed the ladder over with Christian and Sting on it and helped Jarrett win. Being in the ring with Christian and Sting, are they nice people outside of the ring? Like, they seem like they're good people in the ring.
Great people.
Great people.
Those two in and out.
Okay.
Both of them.
And Christian, of course, a good Canadian guy like me, so.
Oh, forget it.
Yeah. Why did TNA take the Octagon away?
That was, I think, Hogan's and Bischoff's idea, which I thought was wrong, bad, because that was the TNA signature. Nobody had that ring, and people really came. Actually, they came to see the show, but actually they came to see the ring.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's why when TNA first came on the scene, I was all about it because of that Octagon ring. Right.
I mean, other than the cage around it, was like UFC.
Yeah.
People loved it and digged, and wanted that was what they wanted to see.
Yeah, and I was shocked when they went back to the square ring, but I think in our first interview you were saying it's like if you're flipping through the channels and there's 3 wrestlings on at once, and you got one with the Octagon, then that's the one you're going to stop and watch.
Exactly, it's different.
It's different.
And when TNA went back to the square ring, we were like everybody else. We were no different.
Yeah. Oh, and then TNA also had the X division. You remember that with the ropes across the top?
Right.
Pretty good invention. I don't know if they still do that. I stopped watching TNA because I'm an AEW guy now. But I really loved it. It was pretty cool. You used to see AJ Styles climbing across the ropes and like. Okay, well, this question. Who got a push or who never got a push as a wrestler that deserved it?
Well, low key for one.
Okay, yeah.
Great worker, great talent. I mean, he had, they just, I don't know what the deal was about them not being interested in him or giving him the push that he needed, but he was a hell of a wrestler, a hell of a worker, and a good storyteller.
Okay. Now the next part of the question: who got the push that didn't deserve it?
It's hard to say.
Okay, that's good enough.
If you did get a push, then you were a hard worker. That's that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah. Okay. TNA Hall of Famer, class of 2015. What were your thoughts and feelings when you finally got inducted in there, or even being acknowledged in the first place?
It was awesome. It was great. It was something that I never expected. but it happened. So it was an honor for me to be that, to do that, or get that.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, if you definitely weren't expecting it, it would be something. TNA remade the Montreal Screwjob in a match with the AJ Styles and Kurt Angle match. Remember that one? What were your thoughts on TNA actually taking this angle on that?
You know what? Honestly, I can't remember that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you remember the storyline romance with Madison Rayne? That sounds like a really awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's a good storyline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's a sweetheart.
She's a sweetheart. Can you tell us about her?
Well, she's a great worker, and what they come up with, it seemed to work, and it was good. But she deserves a lot of credit. She is one of the greatest women wrestlers that I've ever worked with.
Is she still wrestling?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She worked for TNA, I think.
Oh, she's still in TNA. Okay. Yeah. July 2018, Ring of Wars in Carolina. You and Katie ref the same night. In her debut, what were your thoughts on that night and everything experiencing and being there to ref the same night with your daughter?
It was great. It was cool. Okay. It was just one of those things that happens that you're proud of,
And you've also reffed with Brian before.
Oh yeah, many
times, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still reffing too?
NWA.
Okay.
They're coming back. They're getting all this stuff back in line, so they'll be back.
Okay. Okay, on to the AEW questions. 2018, you refereed in the All-In pay-per-view. Did you know that AEW was going to take over? Because I think they've taken over. They're the number one wrestling show on TV.
I wasn't for sure if they would take over, but I was hoping they would. And they've done a great job. They got a hell of a production deal. People working that knows what the hell's going on, and they're awesome. And I hope they eventually be number one. If they're not already.
I definitely think they are. Their product is way different. It's not the same story over and over again. And now you're starting to see that WWE's copying storylines like crazy from AEW.
Well, that's because WWE doesn't know what the hell's going on anymore.
Yeah. They can't relate to the younger guys either.
Right. And as is where Cody and Tony are doing good things and making good decisions, and they're listening to their people. It's just not writers doing it and Vince doing it. They take interest in everybody's ideas, and that's why they're doing so good. It's not a one-man deal or two-man train down at AEW as it is down there at WWE. It's so uncomfortable there. It's unreal. Look at the talent that AEW has already gotten from WWE that they release guys that are great stars and superstars, and they come right up there and the ratings jump sky high.
Yeah, Jericho, Moxley, just to name a few.
Exactly.
And I hear you're getting Renee Young as well.
Right.
Yeah.
She'll be there.
Yeah, she'll be there soon. I hear she put in her notice at WWE today.
Right. Well, yeah.
A couple days ago. I just saw the story today.
Right.
Katie, she was a wrestler as well. She came in as Gail Kim's sister. What were your thoughts on that? And pretty proud moment?
Yeah, it was good. It was great.
Yeah. That back to that AEW All-In part. That was the same night that Cody smashed the chair, right? That Triple H chair?
Right.
Okay. And it was just called All-In pay-per-view. It was before it was even called AEW. They didn't even have a name for it yet, right?
Right.
Okay. Also, that you were in the acting debut in Boy Meets World episode. I watched that episode today just to make sure I got the facts right, because I believe in our first interview I screwed it up. But yeah, Vader takes on Jake the Snake Roberts.
Right.
Yeah. Have you seen that recently or ever again? Or
No, no. Well, I've seen it a couple times. Yeah.
okay. Okay. I wanted to ask you about CTE. Like, I'm a concussion person too. I've had multiple ones, and they truly suck. And my personality changed when I hit my head that hard. And being around all these people, is there? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, it's like it's bad to use chairs and all the other shit that somebody can really get in concussion. They can make it without doing all that. You know what I mean? Just like football players, concussions. And when you go overboard and you're using chairs and sticks and God knows whatever, it just doesn't make sense. You don't need all that because you're damaging your talent.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that.
Once they're hurt, they get a concussion. Who knows how long they're going to be out? So why are you doing that? That makes sense.
Yeah, so you were good friends with Owen.
Loved him.
Yeah, we touched on that in the first try. Could you tell us a couple stories, being he's a good Canadian guy, and you tell us some good stories about him? Or?
Well, like I said before, you could have your worst day, and when Owen came in, it was over. You had your best day or your best evening, sitting around listening to him, watching him. He was probably the biggest rubber in the dressing room, period.
Okay.
And he was a great guy, honestly.
Okay. Well, now to the most infamous event of the career, I would think. The Montreal Screwjob, if we can touch on that for a few minutes. It happened in '97 Survivor Series. At what point were you told to make this happen?
Probably 5 minutes before the match, if that.
Okay. Do you remember who told you that?
Jerry Briscoe.
Okay. So what were your thoughts in your head heading to the ring, knowing that Brett had your word and that was going to happen?
Well, Brett and I were leaving Canada, and he bought me a first-class seat flying to the show.
Yeah.
And he said, "You won't count me out, will you?" I said, "No, I will not. Just keep your shoulders up, and you will not get counted out." Okay? And truthfully, I didn't count him out.
Yeah.
But what I did, I would never do again, but that was from Vince. So everybody thinks I screwed Brett, but Vince screwed Brett and me. So that's how I look at it.
I basically look at it like Vince put you between a rock and a hard place.
Right. But see, the thing is, he didn't have the confidence and knowing that any other wrestler was going to do that, period. And they didn't. They wouldn't have, I don't think, I mean, they were too either green, young, or didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
That's why I was the chosen one.
Yeah, I always look back on that, and you watch all these movies. The Dark Side of the Ring did an episode on it and stuff. And Vince Russo, he talks about how it was Cornette's idea, and I guess they hate each other too. So do you still talk to Brett? And you're on good terms for now.
Oh yeah. Yep. I've seen him probably 6 times a while back, and we're cool.
Yeah. Good, because you guys were good friends back then, so.
Right. And we are today.
Good. I like to hear that. That's another good Canadian guy, and his health, we went through some stuff, but I believe he's over the hump already on that.
Yep.
And he's starting to get better. I ran into him a couple of years ago when he was just on the way back up, and super nice person. He took time to even see me, like give me a couple seconds, sign me an autograph, and that's just what it was. And I believe that's how he is as a real person. It never was just a show on wrestling.
Hey, the best they is, the best they was, and the best they'll ever be.
Yep, for a reason.
Right.
Yeah, right. Okay. Do you have a personal highlight or a personal low light?
I guess personal highlight.
Pardon me?
Personal
Yeah.
highlight.
Yeah, what would be your personal highlight?
Just being able to be in this business and love what I've done.
Okay. And I'm going to guess that the personal low light in wrestling would be obviously the Montreal Screwjob.
Probably.
Okay. Is there any... I got to pull out some more questions here. We ran through those pretty quick here. Did you have a favorite sports hero growing up?
I like golf.
You like golf?
A little bit of golf was not good, but I enjoyed it.
Okay. Shit. What is important to you nowadays when you're still in the business? You're only doing the big ones, you're not pay-per-views and the big matches. So what is important or motivates you to keep going back to the ring?
Because once you're in this business, you'll go and go and go till you can't go.
Okay.
You know, I don't do a whole lot of refereeing anymore. It's just mostly autograph sessions and stuff like that. But I just love the business. Look at all these autograph sessions that people have today. The old guys are still there signing autographs and taking pictures. And once it's in your blood, it never leaves.
That's true. I always see pictures of like the Nasty Boys or the Bushwhacker Luke. He's always out there doing all these signings and stuff, and
right.
Like that would be awesome. I don't even know if those signings have ever come to Vancouver or Canada, but those would be awesome to go to. What kind of shows do you watch?
Well, I don't watch hardly any shows. I like NASCAR.
Okay.
Because I knew the Saddlers and Hermie and all them, and when he was doing his wrestling, I was running his shows for him, and then, I just like going to NASCAR races, and I went with him sometimes here and there when I could get there.
How's the foot a couple weeks later since we last talked?
Huh?
How's the foot since we last talked?
It's getting there, but it's the shits.
Yeah.
Slow process.
Okay. Well, Earl, I want to thank you for coming back on. I ran out of questions. We flied through that pretty quick. It's a little easier this time. We don't have another guest.
Hey, it's better to run out of questions than it is run out of money.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well,
I want to thank you for coming on.
Okay. Hey, this is Earl Hebner, and I'm on the podcast I Only Touch Greatness. And I had a great time.
Perfect. Thank you, Earl.
Bye, bud.
Hey, I'll talk to you soon, and I'll get a hold of you soon when the video is done. I'm going to add some highlights and stuff.
All right, get with Katie.
I will for sure. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Be safe.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, bye.